Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's January 11th, 2024, and today I thought what I'd do is share with you two different articles I posted on mindfullivingsanctuary.com, and there will be a link in the description to mindfullivingsanctuary.com. And yesterday I posted a video talking about accidents and how they can happen on the farm and on the homestead. And I shared some of the experiences of my past, some of the incidences that I had, and also I shared a pretty significant injury that a logger had, and some of the consequences. And his significant other had really wanted to have all of the details, information available, and she reached out to people to say, hey, be prepared with getting your contact list information, all of those things. So right after posting that video yesterday, I went ahead and modified one of my older articles. I used to give handouts to students and to clients years ago when I was at Cornell, and then later on when I was at specialty practice. And I modified it to include information. And I went ahead and on Nuts 319, Pete, that's the person's YouTube channel that actually had the terrible incident. And so I went ahead and gave them a note that there is this that their viewers can watch, since it'll be fresh in those people's minds. Uh, basically, I'll just briefly go over this. It's personal information, and you can copy this. You can just scroll down, copy the whole thing, and paste it to a note, and then fill it out for each individual person as well. And even the information about your pets as well. So personal information, everything. If you do know blood types, and this will it's the truth is there's quite a bit of homework involved in getting some of this information and getting it all available, getting it in writing, getting it on your phone so that you've got that information, especially all the contact information, because based on my experiences, people are in a very almost shock-like state of mind. They're still trying to process the devastating accident that happened with their loved one, at the same time as try and give as much good information about the questions that we ask as clinicians. So certainly having this information, contact information, healthcare information, it'll be the healthcare insurance number, all of those sorts of things, blood type, previous adverse reaction to medications, to vaccinations, whatever it may be, adverse reactions to food. Have they ever had a blood transfusion before? If they did, was it packed red blood cells, a fresh whole blood transfusion, fresh frozen plasma, or was platelets? So all of these things I just knew we had a blood transfusion. Well, how many units and what? And so you may want to dig through, besides knowing the blood type, because after a patient has had blood transfusions in the past with red blood cells, there's more of a opportunity to have an adverse reaction. Is there a pacemaker in there? Are there metal implants? All of these things are bits of information. Have they had surgery before? Why does he only have one kidney? There's just so many bits of information that I have to sit down and really rack my brain to think about all the things that happened in my life, and there's young people who've had many comparable things as well. So all of your contact information, including friends, neighbors, work, all of those. If a motor vehicle is involved, the insurance information, all of that stuff, so that you're not you can do the things that need to be done, provide the appropriate information in a timely manner. And one of the things I would say is having this information, just don't rely on, let's say you're talking to the person, the EMT or the fireman or the ambulance driver. they've got so many things going on, and they may get called out to their next call right away, or it could be multiple persons involved, and they may not retain everything. So each doctor, each nurse practitioner, each physician, if you go from the emergency clinician to the, let's say, the surgical service, you're going to want to convey the same information to the surgical service or the cardiology service or the internal medicine service. Give all the data and be willing to take notes during the time that these things would be, as you're being told things. And one of the things I'd always tell my clients, and back then it started off with bringing a tape recorder with them. You've got a recorder on your phone, learn how to use it. So when a professional comes out and is sharing information, hit the record and record the information, because processing steps, you may be processing one statement that's being said and totally miss something else that's said. Having another person with you isn't always a possible, but having another person who's as calm as possible there is also information. So all of the healthcare information as well, legal stuff as well, lawyer information, those things, so you don't have to be stressing out about any legal issues, responsibilities. If you've got pets, certainly information about your kids, your school, people who can go to the school to pick up your kids, and all, having everything written down so it's right there in front of you when you need to have that information. And this is information I just wouldn't leave on just one phone. I'd have it backed up in some way. And nowadays it's real easy to back it up to other services. So if something happens to your phone or it gets left behind, you can go online or use someone else's device and bring up that same information, like Google Docs or whatever it may be. So I just wanted to share that I did post this. This is at mindfullivingsanctuary.com under articles at the top of the screen. I'm going to click the articles again, and in the emergency information, I left some. There were some legal things in there, and so that made me think about, let's get this estate plan outline published as well. So today I went ahead and posted an article about some of the outline, some of the things that get you thinking about what the terms mean, what are the potential benefits, what are the potential consequences if you don't fill out these different forms. A will doesn't cover everything. So first off, important, I'm not your legal advisor. I'm not an attorney. This is just information that I put together to help guide people, but they're responsible. You're responsible for contacting your own legal expert to help you work through with all the fine tuning. All of this will help you get an understanding of why these components in this outline are so important. So you want to be aware of your assets, the taxes, what's going to happen with the children, healthcare decision making, management of your financial affairs as well. What if you've got a business or your spouse has a business? What's going to happen with the business as a result? Avoiding probate delays. So there's a lot of expenses when the courts have to take over. If you just have a will, you don't have a living trust, a revocable living trust, well, that can really be a major issue as well. In other words, we've all heard stories of people that were left the home, but the home had to be sold in order to pay for the taxes and all the expenses during the time that the home was with other assets were caught up in probate. So if you want to leave things to a beneficiary, doing your homework ahead of time is really important, and it gives you peace of mind. So here are the major components of it: a will, a living will, which is an advanced health care directive, a power of attorney, a healthcare proxy. So that's really a medical power of attorney, someone you designate to make those decisions based on what your wishes are to happen when you're not able to make those decisions. Then I go over the revocable living trust. There's more to this, so bear with me for a second. Beneficiary, designations, guardianship designations, letter of instructions, business succession plan, as we mentioned, tax, estate tax planning, and digital estate plans. So many people have Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, or whatever they are, Instagram. You have a digital imprint out there that's your responsibility, and you need to plan that, what happens with everything once you pass away, and certainly your funeral and burial wishes as well. So there are benefits and there are challenges with each one of these. So I sort of went ahead and talked about, all right, with a will, what are the benefits? What are the challenges? Why it matters? What are the consequences or considerations with a will? What about a living will? An advanced healthcare directive. What is it, and what are the benefits of it? What are the consequences if you don't have one, and why it matters as well? Is certainly a power of attorney. What is a power of attorney? How it actually works? What are the benefits of it? And what are the potential consequences, drawbacks of it as well? So things to be thinking about. We're really thinking through it. Now, this isn't a once and done. Your estate plan is not a once and done, because things happen. People break up. Different people pass away preceding your own planning for your own passing away. So all of these things have to be revisited and adjusted according to your thoughts. And I should have said this: an estate plan is definitely not just for people with wealth. They're really important for people who really don't think they have anything. They owe more than what they have. But it's the responsibility of knowing what your wishes are all throughout the whole process, so that your wishes are brought up front and are foremost present. Healthcare proxy. This is real important, because many people are no longer. We get to a point where they no longer can make their own financial or medical decisions. Or if you're on life support, what do you want done? Is there a chance for great quality of life after you get through this period of being on life support, or is it you're never going to have good quality of life afterwards? So all of those things need to be thought about and discussed. And I know this is a lot of stuff to be thinking about. So the benefits and the drawbacks of each one of these plans. A revocable living trust. This is one that I think everyone really needs to be aware of, to try and avoid lawyers taking the assets, the courts delaying the transfer of the components of someone's will and trust to the beneficiaries. This really needs to be done, and it needs to be done well. So you do need to have legal advice with this to make sure that the revocable living trust is well funded, and it's not once and done. You can always change it as different people come in and out of your life, as people get older, or you may choose to skip a generation as far as benefits and all, or you want to have your adult children receive it in stages. And so on and so forth. So there's just so many things to be thinking about when you're planning. Beneficiary designations. I'm just going to speed through this whole thing. Guardianship designations. Letter of instructions. And this is very important as well, is to have everything down in writing and have copies of this so you can go back and review it as events happen in your life. The business succession plan. Your husband may be an independent contractor. You do the books, but what about he's got loans for this, that, and the other thing? And I don't mean to be this sexist. It certainly could be, the shoe could be on the other foot. The wife may have the construction business or whatever it may be. So it's just being ready to have it clear and concise what needs to happen in what order. um, challenges of the business succession, estate tax planning. Certainly, we know our government does such a fantastic job taking care of our tax dollars and all, and really making sure that it's really well spent. I'm being a bit funny there, really not funny. So you really, estate tax planning is really important so that the results of all of your hard work don't end up going to fund something that you don't want being funded. They go to the beneficiaries the way that you want them to be, no matter how meager they may be. Uh, Digital asset plan, really getting that, I think that makes sense. Funeral and burial instructions, what you want. Not all of us want to have the same thing. Like, I don't want a traditional funeral or burial. Formaldehyde being pumped into me, and I'll make another video about that, other options. But this is a traditional way here in the States. This is the American way to have a funeral and burial. What you actually want is what's important, and to get it in writing, and that may change as well. Now, I do add on here an irrevocable trust, which is different than the revocable living trust. A revocable living trust, you can modify. It offers you protection as far as going to court and probate, and there being a protracted period of time, sometimes years, before your assets are actually transferred to your beneficiaries. So that's really important. An irrevocable trust is something totally different. It's a way of privatizing, not letting everybody in the world know what assets you have. If you're worried about getting sued, and you want assets to go to your loved ones, and you don't want some other entity taking those to pay for whatever things there are. And I'll just leave it at that for the irrevocable trust. So, in conclusion, I put this together as a simple outline to help people get started. I do recommend that you speak with an attorney, but at least beforehand, knowing what these terms are, and you have a starting point to start off with, so that it isn't all a foreign language and you're just not blindly trusting someone. In medicine,